Hi, one of the world's best-known photographers, Lord Lichfield, died yesterday suddenly at the age of 66.
Yes, his images of the swinging 60s epitomised the era and immortalised many of the famous faces associated with the decade. Now, the Society photographer, Cambridge Jones, is here. A charmer, a gentleman, a genius, an apt description of him?
I think so, and charming being absolutely vital, because to get the best out of somebody, and he always said this, to get the best out of somebody, you need to give a lot, because what you're looking at is not just the person, you're looking at their reaction to the photographer, not the camera, the photographer. He's also, I think, the last of the great gentleman photographers, and probably he represents the switch in two eras from the world of aristocracy from which he came to the world of celebrity, arguably the new aristocracy, and he managed to cover both worlds.
Some iconic pictures, of course, over 4 decades, you know, from Mick and Bianca, their marriage, right up to his latest one, which we'll see in a minute, which is Baroness Thatcher's 80th portrait. And
I think his background helped enormously in that, because
it gave him access.
It gave him access.
Undoubtedly. But
and access is one thing, but the other thing you need is trust, because people need to know if you're sitting in the back of their...
This is this brilliant photograph, which
photo.
they'd taken the formal photographs, and he said, that's it, and they all apparently collapsed into laughter, and that was a great photograph. Oh, we're running through. That's the Baroness Thatcher one.
And I love that one of the Queen and Prince Philip, because that's where you need trust, because he didn't have very long with them, but he went in there, and they need to know that this photographer who's walked off to the side and is pointing a camera is actually, that he's not going to do something stupid. And similarly with the old photos in the 60s of Bianca and Mick, he's sitting in their car at their wedding, and they seemingly don't even know he's there, because they know they're not about to end up on the front of something, because he's not going to ridicule you. And that's absolutely vital, and that's how you have a career that long, is everybody trusts you.
And remind us of how he got started. I read that he said that he only did it to get access to beautiful women, but I mean, you know.
He did, and he also said, I've been paid to go around the world with beautiful women on my arm, what a life. He was actually given a camera at the age of 6 or 7 by his mother, but then when he decided to take up photography, they cut him off and said, no, you don't. And he ended up living in London in a relatively cheap flat over a restaurant for a long time with no allowance, which somebody of his position would have had. And that was, so he had to sort of make his own way for a while until they realised he was okay.
I read another comment saying he made work look like fun.
Yeah. And I think because like so many great photographers, he absolutely loved the form, which if you don't love it, it's sort of hard to quite understand what that means. But to me, just looking at a photograph is kind of, so it isn't work anymore. It's creating something you want to do it. You pinch yourself and think, are we really doing this for a living? And meeting these people, he loved that as well. He said that he was privileged to have met all these amazing people through his life.
But it was a credit to his personality, his character, that, as you say, that issue, that central issue of trust, he was able to get, which is the key thing, as you've said, with taking photographs of your subjects.
You can end your career overnight if you take photographs of somebody where they look terrible or something terrible's happening, and that photograph finds its way out. So if you're going to have a career with that longevity and that much respect, they have to know that they can trust you.
I think that you gave a quote from him, but I think to complete it, it says he made a living travelling around the world with a beautiful woman on his arm at somebody else's expense. That's the best bit.
But the other thing, in order to understand how much he loved photography, he said, and a lot of these women became my girlfriends, but he got more pleasure sometimes out of just creating beautiful photographs of them than having them as girlfriends in some ways.
Diana Lumley being one, of course.
Joanna,
one person that he took so
Great
many
pictures,
beautiful
great
ones
memories.
of.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Nice to see you.